So, it's a well-known fact that Konami doesn't know what to do with Dark Magician. Every single time we get a new card, there's always a blaring issue with it. Always something ass backwards with it, or it has no synergy at all with the rest of the cards they gave us. I'm gonna fix all of our problems right now. Yeah, in this video series, I'll be fixing every single Dark Magician card we've ever gotten. I won't be making new cards, that'd make things too easy. Instead, I'll make it so that every card still does what it's supposed to do, just in a way that makes it accomplish its goal better. Let's get started. Magician Navigation. This is the card that started all of this for me. Even when it first came out, it was always bad, for one simple reason. It's a trap. Trap cards just need to stop existing. As if quick plays didn't already make them obsolete, Konami then gave us hand traps, really just making the trap card mechanic completely useless. Trap cards should just go the way of the normal monster and pendulums, more of an archetype specific thing than a universal mechanic. So I'm sure you can already guess how this card could be fixed. Make it a quick play. Though I also changed a few other things. I made it so that you can special summon Dark Magician or the girl from your hand. It would make her less of a brick. I also made it so that only fusion monsters could be special summoned from the extra deck the turn this card is used. Otherwise, people would use it for link spamming, and that's not good. I forgot to put it on the card, but it's also a hard once per turn now. The Spell and Trap Negate also got a little bit of a rework. First off, you can trigger it with Dark Magician Girl being on the field, so it's not exclusive to Dark Magician anymore. Second is, since you can activate this card a whole turn sooner than before, I thought it'd be fair to push the negation effect back by a turn too. The soonest you could activate the negation effect on the original is on turn 3. While it's mighty stupid, I think having it on turn 3 turns to being fair if we get to use the summoning effect on turn 1. Alright, next card. Eternal Soul. I don't even have to say anything about this card. You guys already know. But I thought, you know what? If we're gonna have that self-destruct effect on there, let's at least make it worth it. So here's what I did. Now, I'm sure you have some questions. Let's just go through the card and those questions should be answered. Every Dark Magician, Dark Magician Girl, and Magician of Black Chaos in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Yeah, we're adding the Girl and Magician of Black Chaos here. It just makes sense. I know this by itself wouldn't make Magician of Black Chaos worth running, but I've got more ideas we might get into later, and again, he should have just been part of the archetype to begin with anyway. If this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters you control. Yeah, we're keeping this. If we're gonna have this terrible effect, the rest of the card should at least be improved to make it worth it. And I don't really want to remove anything a card does, just improve it, kind of how I explained earlier. Anyway, you can use the following effect of Eternal Soul once per turn during either player's turn. You can activate one of these effects. This is a quick effect. Now, I'm not sure if we've had a continuous spell with a quick effect, but if we can slap that little bit onto a monster effect and it works, there's no reason it wouldn't work with a continuous spell. Special summon one Dark Magician Girl, or Magician of Black Chaos from your hand, graveyard, or banish zone. This does not ignore summoning conditions though, so you still have to properly ritual summon first. And with a name like Eternal Soul, it would make sense that we can special summon from the banish zone. Now for the second effect. Add one bond between teacher and student, or chaos form, from your deck to your hand. Now here I was debating on making it so that you could get those cards from their graveyard too, but with the improvements I have in mind for bonds, I feel like that would be too good. Also, I feel these search options make much more sense and ties the rest of the archetype together better. With Eternal Soul like this, we get to bring out our guys on turn 1, it remains a quick effect, and we'd have more reasons to use the search effect, because as it is now, how often do you use it to search for Dark Magic Attack or Thousand Knives? So, what do you guys think? Is this better? Would it make the self-destruction effect worth it? Let me know in the comments. Okay, next up, Destined Rivals. As it is now, it's not really worth using at all, and it's for the same reason as navigation. So here's how it should have been. Literally, the only change is that it's a quick play spell. That's it. It's all it needs. You could argue that this actually makes it too good of a card, and I guess I could kind of agree with you, though if we were to make another change to it, I would make it so that it only negates the effect of one monster, though it still wouldn't target. Magician's Combination. I really want to like this card, but being a trap and requiring setup is just too much. You can probably already guess how I would fix it. I wasn't kidding when I said trap cards need to go. I made a few other changes to it though. Once per turn, during either player's turn, this is a quick effect. When a card or effect is activated, except during the damage step, you contribute one Dark Magician Girl, or Magician of Black Chaos from your field or hand. Special summon one other of the mentioned monsters with a different name than the tributed monster from your hand or graveyard. And if you do, negate that activated effect. If this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can destroy one card on the field. I've added Magician of Black Chaos to the effect rotation, as well as made it so that you can tribute from the hand. This makes the setup requirement more reasonable, and being a spell makes it useful going second. And once again, this doesn't ignore summoning conditions, so while you can tribute Magician of Black Chaos from your hand, you can't special summon him without ritual summoning first. Now we've got Miracle Restoring. I did say I'd be doing every card. As it is now, it was never useful in any way. So here's my fix for it. Special summon one Dark Magician or Buster Blader from your hand or graveyard. You can remove 2 spell counters from your side of the field to special summon from your deck or banish zone instead. Like I said, I don't want to remove any part of an effect, and this is meant for a spell counter type of deck. Honestly, looking back at it though, I should have made it to remove just 1 spell counter instead of 2, so pretend I did that, I guess. It's essentially still a worse Eternal Soul, but being a quick play, having the option to summon Buster Blader and doing it from the deck makes it interesting at the very least. I couldn't do too much with this card, but I feel this was enough. At least for what it was trying to do. And that's all the trap cards. I wanted to get those over with first. Now we can get to the more interesting cards. My personal favorite fix, Chaos Form. As it is now, it's not good. Not big surprise. Here's my fix. This card can be used to ritual summon any Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. You must also tribute monsters from your hand, field, and or banish Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, or Magician of Black Chaos from your deck or graveyard, whose total levels exactly equal the level of the ritual monster you summon. Something more like this would do wonders for the ritual variant. The option to ritual summon from their graveyard is something rituals have always needed. Adding Magician of Black Chaos to the effect here also gives us a way to ritual summon our level 8 monsters without having to use Blue Eyes. And of course, the best part of the effect, being able to tribute from the deck like Advanced Ritual Art does. Sure, we banished the monster, but even if Isol didn't have the fix I gave it earlier, we'd still be getting Dark Magician on the field with Magician of Chaos. Although I do see how this could be abused with Magician of Black Chaos Max, so maybe have it where it doesn't ritual summon from the grave after all? I'd be okay with that, though I still do think any other ritual spell for like other archetypes, summoning from the grave should still be an option. Magic Formula. As it is now, its best purpose is side decking it for a cheeky life point time win. If it's going to be side deck material, this is how I would fix it. Equip only to Dark Magician Girl, or Magician of Black Chaos. It gains 700 attack. Also, if it destroys a monster by battle, banish it. Your opponent cannot banish cards while this card is face up on the field. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, gain 1000 life points and return one of your banished monsters to the bottom of your deck. Now it's real side deck material, essentially replacing the role of Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. It also has a neat banishing effect we might need in certain matchups, as well as a way to get back one of our own banished monsters. Oh yeah, and you can still use it for the cheeky life point time wins if you want. Magician's Salvation. The worst thing about this card is that it doesn't let us activate Eternal Soul the same turn it's set. I have no idea why. I don't know. Anyway. Changing Eternal Soul to the way I did makes it so that's not an issue, as you can activate continuous spell cards the turn they're set. So assuming Eternal Soul is a continuous spell card, this is how I would change Salvation. It's essentially the same thing, but also adding Magician of Black Chaos to the rotation. Though I thought about making it also bring back the monster from the banished zone and not just the graveyard, but again, assuming Isul works the way I put earlier, this would be fine as is. Strength and Unity. Another card I really wanted to like since it's supposed to be ritual support, but it's just not good. Here's how it would be good. If you ritual or fusion summon using Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician, or special summon a fusion or ritual monster named Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician, you can draw one card or target one card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, banish it. You can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, then target one level 7 or higher normal monster in your graveyard or banish zone, add it to your hand, or place it on the top of your deck. You can only use each effect of Strength and Unity once per turn. The original Strength and Unity tried to be a secondary pseudo-circle, but it did a terrible job at it. It did nothing for you going first, and most of the time you're going to ritual or fusion summon, it's going to be on your own turn, so this card really can't do anything until turn 3. That is terrible card design. And even if you're lucky enough to get the banish effect, you're only going to do it once, the way it's worded. This fix I gave it fixes all of these problems. Even if you don't banish anything going first, you still get rewarded for fusion or ritual summoning by being able to draw a card, and after that, when you bring back those fusion or ritual monsters that counters Dark Magician or Blue Eyes, you'd be able to trigger the banishing effect again. This is how you do a pseudo circle. The recursion effect the original had was actually pretty good, but the rest of the card made it not worth running. I boosted that effect too by being able to get back the normal monster from your banish zone too. I feel like Dark Magician needs to be able to do more with the banish zone like this. It fits the secondary chaos archetype we got going on, or at least trying to get going on. For today's last card, let's do what was supposed to be the most important card of the archetype. Dark Magical Circle. The fact that most of us only play 1 or 2 copies of this card that's supposed to be our ace says everything. And we're not playing 1 or 2 because it's so searchable, we're playing 1 or 2 because we rarely need its effect. If our deck is going to be like a puzzle where each card needs another card to do anything, then we need the effects to be good enough to make the puzzle solving worth it. I understand it'd be hard to do this without making the effects broken, so here's my take on it. When this card is activated, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You can reveal one that mentions Dark Magician Girl, or Magician of Black Chaos in its name or effect, and add it to your hand. Place the remaining cards on top of your deck in any order. This effect now allows us to grab monsters and more cards from the archetype in general. It really should have always been like this. Also, it's kind of on theme now, since we're focusing on 3 monsters, it reveals 3 cards. Kinda cool. Not really effect or balance wise, it's just cool little fun fact. If any of the following monsters are summoned to your field, you can apply the appropriate following effect. Dark Magician. Target 1 card your opponent controls, banish it. This effect is the same, it's fine as it is. It's a shame it targets though, but that's where the next card effect comes in. Dark Magician Girl. Negate the effect of 1 card on the field for the turn. This doesn't target, so it can help us get rid of a pesky card we're having trouble with. Though it's not a quick effect, so you're not going to respond with something being activated. It's more meant for things like floodgates or monsters with protection effects. Magician of Black Chaos. Set 1 spell from your graveyard, banish it after it's activated. This effect is the only one I'm iffy on. It might be too good? Maybe have it where you can't activate the spell on the same turn it's set. You can only use each effect of Dark Magic Circle once per turn. Each effect. That means if you somehow manage to bring out more than one, you can activate more than one of these effects. It's hard to do, but it'd be worth it. It would also make Magician's Salvation a lot more useful, because as it is now, it's just an e-soul searcher. That's it. This would also really sell that whole theme where Dark Magician and the girl work best when they're together. Imagine the opponent has something like Dragoon on board. DMG negates his effect, then DM banishes it. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, that's all for now. Let me know what you guys think of these cards in the comments. I'll see y'all next time.